It's so hard to open my eyes. I'm blind to the light from the sky. I'm dealing with things I can't write. And all of you know it's been no easy road. But I keep working harder, going harder just to prove something. Burning out, I can't do shit for weeks. Guess I proved nothing. Everybody wants my work for free. I know you have the money, things are looking different. I'm not putting up with you, not anymore. And I know you think you still can take advantage. And you always took my humbleness for granted. But I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think you still can take advantage. But it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it. 'Cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. Lost myself, now I'm fully disguised. My heart got bruised up, so I put it on ice. Been told that I wouldn't make it in this life, but now all of you see there's so much room for me. And I know you think I still can take advantage. And you always took my humbleness for granted. But I know my worth, you can't take that away from me. And I know you think I still can take advantage. But it hasn't worked out like you fucking planned it. 'Cause I know my worth, you can't take that away from me.
Baby, this is do or die. Feel it in my veins tonight. Emotional suicide. You know it's an eye for eye. I didn't wanna walk the in a tidal wave, but I'm a fighter. Try to take me down, I'm going higher. Maybe you've been playing with some fire. You've been playing with fire. One day you will see what you made of me. Found my inner peace. You watch it release. And
Here we are. Okay, yes, here we are. Welcome everybody for Valencia qualifying for the 6th hour of, well, Valencia. It's not really a news this one year, but here we are for the 30 minutes qualifying that will undergo in a short amount of time. Actually, we are already now in the first flying lap, so the one that is not really a valid one. I'm Cristiano Romano, and I'll be the leading voice for the first 3 hours of racing and the half hour of qualifying. Valencia in Spain, being composed of 14 different turns. The first one here, Aspar. Now that I think about it, we can just go here. Aspar, then we have turn 2, Duhan. They made in second gear. You aim for the curve on the outside, not too much because there is a track limit violation there. Then you cut the inside into turn 3 and then into Nico Terol in second or third gear, depending on the car, because second gear gives you more rotation, but if the car is too nervous, it's not really a good idea. Then you go into 5 and then Angel Nieto turn 6 into even here second or the third gear, depending on the car. And then the La Fusion turn 7 flat out, and then we go into 8. Bernat Martinez, second gear, this one, you can't really choose, and you aim for the tarmac on the outside, then you cut into the inside, into 9, and then 10, and then you brake just here on the exit of the curb into Jaume Hamazia. Turn 11, that's a bit too, well, wrongfully taken by our driver in the BMW, but here we are into Champion Honors, which is the hardest one, because you have to effectively have as much courage as possible. Here there are a couple of cars in the middle of the way that were preparing themselves to start the lap into Adrian Campos 14, which is the last turn of the track. To then set the first of the laps in a 1:31.0. Keenan for now into the lead for the FRL 44, and Schaber goes on for MSR, which is not showing the livery, unfortunately, into the Bentley. Then Eck goes on in first place for now in a 30.3. Schaber still in second, but Nakira is in the lead for now for Flatout Esport. You can see how wide they go into turn 1. It's completely normal since this is not working. Okay, it's completely normal since the track limit is very much on the AstroTurf on the outside. The green part that you can see on the surface is the AstroTurf, which is less grippy, and in the wet it's awful to go over it, but in the dry it's perfectly fine to go through it. We are still with Nakira because he is currently about to set the newest fastest lap time, because for now it's at 30.1, but it's very likely that a 29 will come here. So we are staying for the entirety of the lap with our driver, with the Italian. It goes over the fastest part of the track, nearly out of bounds. But that part there gained him an entire 10th, which would be extremely useful at the very end of the lap. Obviously, being an endurance race, it's not like the qualifying will matter that much. But for now, the Italian goes on and makes a huge gap behind. Schaber is now half a second behind in 30.2. But that 29.6 for now seems unreachable. A lot of drivers are improving. For now, Horvath for CTR is making an improvement, and this puts the 80 in the third place. But for now, nothing seems to be close to that of Nakira. The Honda here of Brooker is for T1 SR. Making a very nice improvement. For now it's an entire second being gained. The car 166 is in 16th place, 1.1 second away from the lead of the qualifying standing. He loses a lot of time here, nearly 3 times have been lost, so 7 times is now the gap between himself and, well, now he goes wide, and unfortunately that's a track limit. So not only this one, but I think, yes, I think also the next one will not be a valid lap time. Very unfortunate. So he will go into the pits and start again his journey. Pisuk for now. Making a good improvement. Take place for the 315 BMW. Still is making an improvement, but you can see there is a Porsche in front. That's the Advisor Racing Team Porsche number 934, which is in 29th place. So some chunk of time compared to this BMW here. So I don't think this lap will be an improvement for Pisuk in the 315 Beamer. Zachary for Vesta Sport. Making for now a very good performance. It is a... well, it was an improvement. Unfortunately, no improvement will come because of that lunge. We can see it back from the splitter perspective. You can see that he goes on to brake way too late. That marker, that white marker on the Assetto is usually the marker to have the brake pedal on, but clearly that has been overtaken way too early, so pit stops being named for a couple of teams too. And one of them is the Vesta Sport 52, that is. And also we're thinking the Ferrari behind them, which that Ferrari is their teammate, and I think it is the 71. It is indeed the 71 that goes on track whilst other cars are passing by, so I think there is some slipstream available for the 71 team, as the 52 is waiting for them. Or is letting other cars pass by. One of the two. Or maybe both. For now, the BMW of 21SR. So some levers are just a couple of levers that are missing, clearly. For now, the BMW number 38 is 19th place. Running in AM class in 4th. AM Pro class obviously have 2 different standings. That at the end of the race will produce different prices. 20 minutes to go to the qualifying session, and the situation is then that the McLaren is completely off the track. Is that Hanivic is going to make a top 10 as the British goes in 9th, leading the silver class. And with another lap to go, I think there is some more time. Eck was improving, but he went wide. So that's possibly why he was improving, because of, well, not braking entirely. Longden making a 2/10 improvement on the lap time, but that 2/10 is very little. But everything considered, it's for now the only improving lap time. So Long goes on to improve his lap time definitely by those 2 times that I've been saying a couple of time ago, and it's going to be 35th place for the British driver here. And we've got Keenan in the Mercedes AMG as the Irish driver goes on to make the pole position lap. 29.625 for Keenan. Good jump for the 441 team. Giovannini for Vesta Sport goes on in 4th. And the Shaver is going to be the last of the top drivers to make a chunky improvement. For now the gap is 6 tenths of a second, but now it is 4, overtaking Zachary, but staying behind Giovannini. So the German is now in 5th place. Obviously it is qualifying still, so nothing is certain, and furthermore, as I said, it's not that qualifying matters that much, it just gives you a tiny bit of help, but nothing over that, to be completely fair. Tobben, as the Dutch, makes a 130.2, so 10th place for Tobben in the Assetto Racing Team 18. Giovannini is still making a interesting performance, goes extremely wide on entry. Different way to approach it. Usually I saw many drivers going for a cut inside, which is way more beneficial, but obviously way more risky. Giovannini went on to go for a more smooth line, which actually gave some results. Giovannini makes a position in the standing, so he goes in 3rd, 1 tenth away from Keenan and less than 1 from Nakira. So for now we got FRL with Flatout Esport behind, then Vesta Sport in the podium with FRL, and then the MSR team in 5th place. I think there is Zachary that is going in a 52 to put the car number 52 in 4th place, just less than 3 times away from the pole. Apparently the first sector wasn't that great, second sector too. The first one was definitely a good one. I saw a car going literally straight, which I don't know which one it was. I'm seeing a 3 seconds improvement on Horman's name, which I think it's clearly wrong, since it should be like world record in hypercar, not even GT3. I'm seeing also Handy in, I think he's... Wait, I lost him completely. Yep, I was correct. He is the lone driver. Every endurance race has been made alone for him. 6 hours and a half will be made all alone. My best is 4, and honestly that was quite difficult, so I can't imagine making 6. He's definitely making an improvement though. 30.6 is his current lap time, but he is actually battling with Hinivix, which is in 11th with a 30.3, 3 times away. He gains a 10th and beats, remains in 4th place in the standing in silver class, but he goes in 19th overall, which is what really matters in this situation. Zachary gains back those 2 times that apparently he lost the lap prior, but he loses them in exit, so it's all about lines. McLaren that had a great influx when the LFM BOP was applied the first time, and the second and the third, and then as the time passed, people started to just don't use it anymore and go to other cars. We have at the moment in the top 10 we've got Honda, we've got a Bentley, a Beamer, a McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, so a good chunk of different manufacturers. This is a very nice lap for Zachary in the Vesta Sport machinery. And he will go on improving by 2 times and putting the car in 3rd, 10 milliseconds in front of Giovannini. But still 1/10 away from the pole sitter. In the race stream, it is going to be quite interesting to see which car will be the best one. Usually the McLaren has a very nice race stream. Same goes with the Ferrari. The Mercedes on the other end could be impacted by the long run. So for now the leading cars are possibly those two in second and third. Pisuk is currently improving by nearly 2 times and he goes in 10th place in the 315 BMW. And there is another good improvement from the background with Payne, who is the QRT McLaren trying to go. Was it his teammate? Oh, I think it was his teammate. I really think it was. And he also goes off the track, but I really want to see it back if it was impeding. Because honestly, it was indeed the QRT just in front. It was the BMW number. I can't really see the number. It could be, as you can see, going unfortunately wide and then getting back on track. I can't be sure which BMW it was. Suppose it was maybe the number 3. No, it wasn't the number 3. The number 3 is the West Competition Racing Academy. With James White driving it, but without a lap time that will be made since this is the out lap. Robinson is for the SimTech McLaren. For now, a whole 10th is getting gained by this car here. Robinson's lap time for now remains practically the same. So an improvement could be made, but that will not be enough since for now there are just milliseconds bouncing around for the number 472. Still a corner to go where he could gain a good chunk of time, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. Actually, he loses all the time he had, so he will complete the lap without an improvement. The Kaiser is making it into 22nd place for McLeod Racing Team, and he goes in 20th. That tiny improvement made him 2 places. Brooker also is now in 7th, improving in the T1 SR car. And still not over yet, since there is another time that could be delivered at the end of this lap. 3 times is for now the difference between Keenan and Brooker, but that 1/10 could put the Honda driver and team in a very good 5th or even 4th place. Which one of the two will happen? We will just know at the very end of this lap, since this is a very good improvement. For now, 3 times are getting gained by Brooker. That will put them into 2nd row. as he goes into the last corner. Heavy braking while turning, while downhill, so very difficult to nail it correctly. He unfortunately loses the tiny bit of time that will not deliver him the pole. This is going to be third place, so second row as I intended earlier. But just for a tiny fraction of a time, it's not going to be the lead of the standing, and he goes also wide into turn 1, so back to the pits for the last 8 minutes of the session. The improvements are quite likely very little now. Still, 4 different teams haven't even reached a single lap time to conclusion, and Vaughan goes wide. He was gaining a massive amount of time in the terms of 4/10 of a second. That would have put them into 23rd place, but unfortunately they are still 11 places behind. And also with a ruined last corner, this also means that this lap is getting ruined. So back to the pits. So for the last attempt, they will go on 1.4 seconds away from the very top of the qualifying session. Still, as I was saying, 5 different teams haven't even registered a single lap time, which makes it very odd. Actually 4, since Taylor actually did a lap time. But either way, for now, 23 teams are stuck in a single second, a literal second. 1.000 is the gap between Payne and Keenan. But in the top end of the standing, I don't think there are going to be any changes. Also because after 25 minutes usually the times are set one way or another. Obviously it's not the optimal lap time, but you need an infinite amount of time to get that optimum lap time. Although Giovannini is already making a very good improvement. Giovannini is creating a little gap between himself and the lap prior, but that doesn't seem enough since the gap is in the order of 5 milliseconds being gained, which is completely different from Zachary's lap time. Oh, he got just unfortunately lost the rear. He was gaining a 10th, that very 10th that would have put them into the very front row into the start of the race, but that will not really happen at the moment. I'm honestly trying to find some improvements, but none are happening. Quite usual when there are multiple minutes, well, multiple times of minutes of qualifying session to be delivered. For now, Osorio is the only one that could improve. 2 seconds away from the top of the session. He probably wants at least to gain the 35th place, which would put them in front of a couple of AM teams. Those 3 times are getting reduced to just a 10.5. And on the last corner, I think there is going to be a bit of an improvement, but that bit of an improvement, I assume it's not going to be enough for making a single position. In fact, that improvements are worthy, just some milliseconds on the final lap time, so not really something that will put it anywhere. Giovannini is still trying to get that improvement to the line. For now he can get it during the lap time. The problem is that he has to also deliver it. Schaber goes into the pits. It may be over for them, since with 4 minutes to go there are maybe a couple of attempts remaining, and even then it's with cold tires. Giovannini's lap time is not going to be an improvement by 8 milliseconds. So it's clear that at this point the pace is that one. Still, he will try a bit more. Cusimano for Vesta Sports in the 51 McLaren is also trying to deliver something. There was a 10th getting gained, but that 10th will not be enough either way, because he needs at least 2, and it's also a red lap now that he went out of bounds in a very odd situation, because that hairpin usually doesn't really put you out of bounds, but someone that was unfortunately, oh, Nakira, he was about to make a very important improvement, but this wide moment is the one that put the number 4 back to second place. This could have been the effective improvement that they were searching for, but nothing will go home at the moment. But as I said, it's qualifying session, so even my tone of voice is not exaggerated. Like I am quite calm in that regard, since I perfectly know that there isn't that much importance to this session. It is obviously useful for understanding the pace of the most, but usually the pace in qualifying is also being put by the fastest driver either way, so it's not a team effort in that regard, as Raimo put the car behind their teammate in 10th place, so an improvement of nearly 8 different places for this team here that goes also wide and ends the qualifying session. Last lap, so it's all or nothing for the majority of the drivers. Obviously, 71 was a necessary improvement, since if if the pace is more or less the 10th place, starting from 10 position behind was never going to be optimal. Cusimano for now gaining a 10th, but again he needs a lot more than a 10th. He actually needs more than 2 times. So he actually has to stretch a lot to get there. And for now that is not happening. Something that can happen is Scaptura in the TSC Racing, number 93 that is, trying to the car forward. He may be able just in the very last lap to create that gap. Ooh, the Kaiser also in 21st place in number 141 Aston Martin is now in 13th place. So important progression for the 141 now in 13th place. They were starting 10 position behind. And even Scaptura will not improve the position. Hopefully the exact lap times are still glitches, so I can't really say if it's going to be an improvement or not, since it's saying to me that the improvement is around 5 times, which is a bit too much. Schaber doesn't improve too, and the Payne, which has an entire second flat of difference between the QRT 43 and the very lead of the standing, is about to deliver a good improvement. Well, was. You can see the frustration. There were around a 10.5 and 2 tenths of improvement on that car, which would have put them between 4 and 6 positions up ahead, and they will start a bit behind now compared to the optimal they could have reached. Lopez, here the Frenchman in the Era Esport in the Audi, is about to deliver a 35th place from 39th, and the last lap, the last car that remains is Shable's one, which will not deliver a lap time. Is actually just a pit practice for the team number 475. So we have got our leaders in the standing, both in Pro Class with Keenan in the 441 with alongside Sakeki and Nopek. And then we have got in IM standing, we've got Hanivix and Davidson in 14th place in IM class, in the very lead of that. So 4 minutes to go. It's going to be this one here. Okay, way better. Please don't explode. Okay, it didn't explode. Let me just go here. Oh, there is plenty of time. Can I just do this? No. It's not letting me. Where? Why isn't it not working? Usually it is. Let me just try back. Because I think the problem and the issue is that the controller is not correctly. Okay, way better. See? Tack, tack. So the usual, nothing too fancy or too different from it usually is. So we got. I will, for now, just state the drivers' surnames, but the teams will go on as the race goes by. But a couple of teams you can quite recognize from just the livery. We've got Keenan that put the FRL car in first place with Nakira in second place. Then Brooker will start in the 166 Honda. And then we got some of the Vesta Sport cars with the 52 of Zachary Giovannini in the 11. Murasaki in the 212 MSR. 341 is Zakdal starting with Horvath, then Leita and Raimo in 10th place. Then we go into Pisuk and Van Horn for the Astro Racing team with Ulrich in the 141 and the leader in IM class, which is the number 38 of T1 SR. Gao will start for... Wait, I can't remember the name. No, I can't remember. I can't click on them because otherwise everything glitches out. But Arsen in the 177 is starting 16th with Tironi in the number 5, 17th place. Curtin for the other Assassin team in 18th. Then we got a number 3 for West Competition Racing in 19th place with 20th place with Novak for the Advisor Racing team. T1. No, this is not T1 SR. This is the Honda of Andy, which will drive alone for the entirety of the race. Jacobs in number 87 with 472 Simtech Racing. Then we got the QRT in 24th, Scaptura in 93, in the number 93 in 25th place with Vanek alongside. Bro will start in the number 2 Lamborghini with the other Simtech McLaren, the 475, and the Feltham behind with some damage. Why is the car damaged from the start? I hope it's just a visual glitch, because otherwise that's unideal to say the least. Then we got Longden in the 30th place with Wellman alongside. Then Van Berg will start in the 300 with Vaughan for the TSR and Sanchez in the 742. Lopez in the Audi. Then we have got Woodward, Cadiz, Osorio, Besana, Brunix, De Munich, Miller, Tucker, Taylor, Von Kizrovsky and Witter that will conclude the grid in the other T1 SR BMW. Now I hope everything is working, which is the usual panic that I can have as usual, since I can't physically know if really everything is working since I'm alone here in the box. In 3 hours John Wright will go on and substitute me in his Scottish voice, but for now you are remaining with me for the first half of the race. Every moment I started to speak like a cabin crew in an airplane, not really sure why that happened, but anyway, here we are into turn 1. Aspar, you can go on the Assetto from the outside. If you miss the qualifying session, I will just undergo back with racing, with the racetrack analysis. Then we go to Duhan, turn 2, being made in second gear. Always second gear, you aim for this curb on the outside, but not too much, otherwise you get a track limit violation. You can go on the Assetto in practically every section of this circuit without any trouble. You can do the inside of turn 3, then Nico Terol is turn 4. That was a lot of lag. I am scared what really happened there. The lag seems to have ended just now. That was a couple of seconds of frames, but that's not a problem. Then we have turn 5, then you brake there on the marker on the Assetto with Angel Nieto, turn 6. This corner is being made in second gear for certain setups, but third gear may be suitable for other, depending on the race car and on the setup, or even just on the driver's appreciation for the gears being selected, if you want to have more torque or more acceleration. Then we got turn 8, Bernat Martinez with 9, which is actually an entire cut flat out, and then 10, you kind of brake here at the very end of the curb to go into Jaume Masia, which is a hairpin, a right-handed hairpin. Try to go on the outside, and same here applies with maybe a track limit violation. And then this is the most difficult part of the circuit. Turn 12, Champi Herreros. You try to aim for the very curb on the outside, but if you just touch it wrongfully, you literally become an airplane and get sent into the gravel trap, which you can see is practically 200 kilometers wide. That's because the MotoGP is usually the protagonist in this very track. So this track actually needs some huge and very large gravel traps for the riders. Then we got Adrian Campos, which is the very last corner, turn 14, with the pit entry on the right. You try to aim for around here. I can't really remember. Usually it's really a lot of around here in the pit lane. But here we are with the green light, and away we go with Keenan starting on the very lead and already covering Nakira behind. That had not a great start. That's because of the Ferrari engine that really doesn't have a great acceleration. The McLaren of Tansini is going to try to go on the outside. It doesn't happen. Brooker is still there with the Bentley trying to go on the outside. There is actually Tansini that goes on the inside and makes it into second place in the number 52 Vesta Sport. There is still a Honda of Brooker, so for now Nakira has lost 2 positions from the very start of the race. There is some yellow flag happening. I suppose there is a huge damage and carnage in the very background of the grid, but for now we remain here with Nakira that gains back the position on Brooker. The Honda is now in 4th place, side by side between the FRL McLaren 331 and Giovannini number 11 for Vesta Sport, with the standings that are going crazy on the left of your screen. But for now the McLaren stays on the outside, and this means that he actually loses the position on Giovannini, with Horvath that clearly wants to maybe have a pick in the balcony, but nothing really concrete happens as of now. Huge braking into the hairpin, no contact whatsoever though, with all the drivers being prepared and understanding that they have to be a bit calmer considering it's a 6-hour event, so nothing has to be rushed over that. McLaren number 11 taking number 51, apologies, taking a hugely wide line to have a better acceleration towards the very straight. But that acceleration will not be enough, as the BMW has an immense power in the top speed. For now, 1.8 seconds is the gap between Keenan and Tansini. With Akira that goes, oh, the Bentley goes on the inside. It's Schaber that over the, oh, Giovannini is off! Contact between Giovannini and the Ferrari there, and Akira also gained the place on Tansini, so everything really happened in this very moment. We can go for the replay as quick as we can. So you can see first it's Nakira trying to go over Tansini, and this really happens, and Schaber also made a position on Brooker with Eck and Giovannini. They switched positions. There was also contact, but that one will be taken back later on, since I can have it on screen at a specific timestamp. A river of cars going on. For now, Raimo is defending against the leader in IM class, and the BMW that goes and becomes the leader back with Hanevix, that initially lost the position on Monsu. This now is also trying to at least keep the 14th place overall, but Harter, but the 177 is now in 14th place and gains back the place on the Italian for FMP that loses the place. And maybe the Assetto Racing team Mercedes has the same idea. This doesn't happen. While in front, you can see two side by side. For now, Eck and Giovannini going side by side, and a bit behind Horvath and Cosimano. For now, you can see Giovannini gains the position on the outside on Eck, and Horvath remains in 8th place, utilizing a bit of track limit. Cosimano is not over there, and he goes inside, makes it into turn 2. Contact between the two drivers, and the 51 is in 8th place. So now the next objective becomes Eck in 7th, just a tiny bit ahead. Couple of contacts here and there. Brooker there trying to go on the inside of Schreiber, but the German driver really wants to keep the position for themselves. It's actually an FRL car already lapped. Can't know who that is. It's actually number 55, back in 45th place. Clearly some damage happened to that car that had to go to the pits and repair. We can maybe have a lap 1 replay just in some minutes. For now I just want to keep it steady and calm. So as I was saying, Brooker for now remains in position number 5, with Schreiber keeping the 4th, and Keenan creating a gap, a very large gap too. 30.8 was the last lap for Keenan. Akira's was 31.3, and the same practically applies to the following of the grid, but obviously first laps nothing is to be said. Also the Ferrari is a bit slow on the start. Compared to the Mercedes, which is actually as quick as possible right on the very beginning of the race. The case are here in the 141 Aston Martin, as the Belgian is trying to go over Pisuk some way or another, but you can't really find any way at the moment. Or maybe he can. He goes on the inside, he tries to get to launch into the inside, but nothing really happens. Into turn 6. Possibly also looking at the fact that there was a back marker in front, so not really launching the car, but now you can see that the 71 of Raimo is going inside. Since the Kaiser has lost the apex, there is an inside move for the 71 that becomes the outside, tries to undergo an overtake on the outside, which is very, very hard to make there, but on the hairpin there is some grip on the outside, which is actually the preferred line, and Raimo for now goes in 11th place and loses it just a tiny amount of time later, with a case that remains in the position number 11, with Raimo going in 12th place and getting overtaken by Harter, that goes on for a contact. Oh, more contact, and Harter is off in the 177. Contact with the 38 of Hanevix. Harter was trying a double overtake on both Hanevix and Raimo, but it was a bit too much to ask for. The T1 Star unfortunately made contact with the Aston Martin. Now there is a McLaren behind that is trying to unlap just in the middle of the traffic, and you can see that that's White losing the position on Tironi. Oh, they've been pushing the number 3 as far as possible. Again, that's a bit too much though in my opinion, and in fact the number 3 gains back the place for now. The Italian tries as hard as possible to maintain the place. There is a McLaren off. That McLaren is, I think it is indeed the 55. The number 5 here, very physical. Some bump draft applied from the BMW behind in number 3 of the West Competition Racing. There is also Van Horn overtaking Monsu. Oh, there's some contact between the two drivers, having some beef at the very beginning of the race in the first 8 minutes. You can see also there's the Mercedes of Van Horn overtaking. Oh, there is a contact! And the Ferrari is off. Oh, multiple cars getting involved with 81 and 792 also. Having a contact, multiple cars being involved. Unfortunately, the 81 was just in the middle of the track with Besselink driving it, trying to have the incident under my hand, but unfortunately it was Bunisics, the one that lost the most in that situation. There was some contact with the Western Competition Racing number 3. Oh, there's more contact here with the 27 off. Van Eyck, Vaughan and Van den Berg and also Longden overtake Lopez in now 27th place from 22nd. You can see the West Competition Racing number 3 going on the inside of Monsu, utilizing a bit of physical approach to get in front of the categorized driver. The number 3 is now here in 16th place with Wellman and Robinson behind, having some discussion about the position. But Robinson stays alongside. He clearly doesn't want to go into 21st place. They're still side by side with the Ferrari that has the outside on turn number 6. No contact between the two. And it is the McLaren that will have to give the position away. And Brooker lost an eternity here, with also Horvath gaining the place on Shaber. Something clearly happened here for Brooker. We can see from the inside what really happened to the Honda driver. Oh, there was some contact with the Bentley, with the Honda driver waiting for their opponent. And this also meant losing a handful of positions from 5th to 9th place. With the Bentley of Shaber still here, trying to maintain a placement. The Honda possibly is faster in the T1SR car. Inside they try. Not defending as it was the last lap for the Bentley, because he knows there is a chance here on the inside, but the Honda has some more grip on the outside, and Brooker makes it into 8th place on Shaber's Bentley. The German is now in 9th place with Pisuk on the door waiting for something to happen, but I want to see back the incident that unfortunately had the number 3 and a huge chunk of drivers getting involved. It was the 72, I think it was. You can see it back. You can see from here it was unfortunately, it was not 72 at all, to be fair. Drive to applied for the 475. This was the 81 getting involved in that incident. So you can see from here what really happened in that regard. This was, you can see the contact with the number 3, and then there were some other cars getting involved with the BMW going for a spin after an Audi from behind has hit that very BMW. I wonder if there was a contact between the 5 and the 3 that actually put that forward, but the race control will address it. As I said earlier, the gap of 3 seconds is now going lower. 2.5 is now the gap between Akira and Keenan. And lowering too. The very start of the race, there were multiple contacts happening. This was the race start in the background. You can see a couple of cars getting involved in an incident, but nothing too much. There were also, I think this was the 55 getting involved in some kind of incident too. This is the time sample. Why is it this app? Oh, there was a car literally in the middle of the way. What car was that? It was extremely unfortunate. We can see it back from here. Oh, it was a Lamborghini just in the middle of the way. Then all the cars had to take evasive action. And I think that was the number 2 getting in the way. Yes, it was the number 2. You can see from this replay what exactly happened to the number 2. Suppose there was some damage from... oh, it was one of the McLaren. And number 5 really couldn't have made much from that. Huge side damage for Kiss. But lucky for them, it's just side damage. So, at least for now, nothing to worry too much about. Here there is number 3 of the West Competition Racing, number 3. Battling with Van Horn. Into the inside he goes, and the Dutchman breaks a lot later. Again trying to go on the outside. Was on the outside, that was a bit impossible to say the least. Oh, there is some contact between the two drivers. Van Horn remains in front. But again, some more contact for the number 3 that will repair the car at the very end of the stint. But for now, that car needs some heavy damage repair. Because all those little touches will sum up into a good performance loss. And the BMW goes inside, trying to go into the Mercedes number 18. And nothing really happens compared to the background where the 2-1 of Bellman overtakes Monsu. As now the West Competition Racing goes again into the inside, tries to go for a bit of an impossible move, and he goes for it. You can see the Mercedes is trying to defend on the outside, but nothing could have been made by Van Horn. That is position number 15. There was also a change. It was Brooker overtaking Horvath. This was the replay of the overtake, with the 166 overtaking Horvath in number 80 CRT. A T1 SR car. Oh, you can see lot of overtaking here happening, with the Ferrari 87 losing a couple of places, with the 68 of Monsu for FMP overtaking Robinson and Jacobs. You can also see behind this Van Eyck overtaking Vaughan. The McLaren goes on the inside of the last turn of the other McLaren, and the AM driver is for now on the right side of the track. So the outside into turn 1, which is not great for the line. The Ferrari number 87 is following for QRT, as the Dutchman is maybe trying to utilize something to its favor as we go into the splitter cam. Still side by side between the two, but I really think that it's oh, there is a contact! It is an Audi! It is Van Eyck that out of nowhere was trying to make a place on Ferrari's side, literally Ferrari's side. But 87 remains in 21st. Van Eyck is clearly battling not with the pro driver, but with AM still battling with Robinson. Maybe it is better to go over here. The Simtech 472. I'm seeing oh, that was extremely pretentious by Monsu, that loses in fact the position from the Ferrari number 87, and now he's looking for Robinson's place soon, as soon as the chance was available. Already was trying to targeting Robinson's place into 19th. There we have Jacobs, Monsu, Van Eyck, Vaughan. Vaughan is a pro driver in the 3-state racing, 1, 2, 3. Goes on to try and overtake on the Audi of Van Eyck in number 72 Era Esport. You can see on the left side that BMW is still there, and the BMW has a clear top speed advantage by default. The Audi doesn't even defend that much. He actually lifts off for a brief moment to get back behind and to have a good line towards turn 1 to avoid getting overtaken by the Honda behind of Andy, since Vaughan effectively is not really battling with the Era Esports team. The 3-state racing is a pro categorized driver, and Honda goes into the inside and makes the place number 23 with Vandenberg also looking at it with extreme interest. There is also a change in placement in 11th place. And Velman gets overtaken by Tironi too. That's for 17th place. But unfortunately I just can't pinpoint everyone. This is for the podium in IM class. As Handy is now in the top 3. Vandenberg goes over and tries to overtake Captura. 15 seconds have been applied to their name in the Aston Martin. That gets the place done in the number 93 Aston Martin, but also gets a 20-second penalty. That I will go on to look at it. Giovannini made the overtake on Tansini. I think there was some teamwork there. Since the gap was steady. Yes, you can see they were slowing down, so there was some teamwork on the making. Robinson here trying to go for the overtake on the Ferrari number 221 of Velman. Oh, contact between the two drivers, more contact between the two drivers. Velman goes into 19th, loses the place on Robinson, and the 472 goes into 18th place with Jacobs looking from behind at the situation. There may be a penalty over that. Speaking of penalty, I actually need to look at them, but I just don't have the time. With Longden that retires, yellow flags and P2. No, Longden is back there. No, okay. I think he just had a lag spike. Nothing to worry too much about. Oh, into the curb. That Ferrari was on the verge of losing it all. In fact, Vaughan from behind is looking at it with interest. So I can understand why Giovannini, rather Tansini let Giovannini pass by. It was because Giovannini already is gapping the teammate, and here it is Brooker trying to go over the Vesta Sport number 51. But Cusimano remains where he is, and well, at least for now, remains in the 7th place. The 81 is off. No, it's not the 81, it's actually the 87 of Jacobs going off. Seems like my race control picked it up, so I'm going to have a look after this battle has ended. Oh, and the Honda goes into the inside. There will be a chance for the Honda to make it into position number 6. And Jay Brooker, 41SR, makes it into 6th place. And this is extremely beneficial for Horvath, that now also cooled. And I say cooled because it's still a double-edged sword trying to go for a move. With Schaber so close. We can go into Cusimano's point of view, or rather his wings point of view. And McLaren is into the inside. Still there. As I said, it was a double-edged sword. And literally, as I said, Schaber utilizes it and goes over to overtake Horvath. Literally, as I said. Trying to go for an overtake was risky. Mostly because the Bentley was extremely close. And now Cusimano has to defend against another car. Robinson behind is also trying to overtake Tironi in the number 5. Number 5 that had some beef, at the very least, with White in the 3, now in 15th. Oops, okay. Was trying to have a view at the YouTube chat. So here we are with number 5. Still Tironi trying to maybe overtake Van Horn in front, but he also has to be aware of the surroundings because behind the McLaren is very good. 41.9 was the last lap for Robinson, half a second faster than Tironi's last one, and Tironi was another half a second faster than Van Horn. So situation not great for the Dutchman. So we are going into the cockpit cam of the BMW driver that will have to deliver a move as soon as possible, because otherwise he becomes the one getting absorbed by the McLaren behind. You can see that Van Horn is clearly slower than these two. Maybe this. Oh, you can see the McLaren how close he was. Payne, yellow flags being shown. There is something happening here with the 43 that is off. 43 off track. I want to see how it happened. It was awesome contact with Audi, and unfortunately the McLaren sent into the gravel with a huge seconds being lost. There is now Scheber, very, very interested about what is happening in front. With the McLaren that will try to defend into the inside. Bentley on the outside. There is a chance now for Horvath behind to make it into turn 1. Oh, Tironi is off! Oh, Tironi is off. 22nd place, now falling into 24th. So something clearly happened here between Tironi and... Oh wait, no. So the car stopped altogether. Very, very odd, that one there. Very, very odd, but for now, let me at least gains back the position of Van Eyck. They are in 24th place only for now. We are back into Scheber's place. Trying whatever it's possible to go for a move. You can see all the penalties being applied. We have White with a 5-second penalty, Robinson with a 15, Monsu with a 15, Scaptura with a 20. Cosimano will have to defend way earlier this time, so maybe the Bentley could go for a lunge into from the outside. There is some contact. You can see the McLaren pushing the Bentley as much as possible, defending against Horvath. A bit too late. Horvath into the inside, the Bentley on the outside. The Bentley takes the place over the McLaren, and the McLaren also loses the place on Horvath. So 2 places being lost by the Italian. With the other Italian, his teammate, gaining the place on Pisuk, now in 11th place. Oh, Aston Martin is there into the inside. Giovannini and Brooker also have a 5 seconds penalty. Oh, the 20-second penalty has been applied to White. And some contact here between the Aston of the Kaiser and Pisuk. The stays on the outside, loses 1 place, maybe 2, because Hanivix behind is now in front. Or rather into the inside. And it is indeed number 38 that takes the place over the 315. That's in IM class, so not really a change in Pro class, but still This means that Hanevik's team, which is the number 838 T1 SR, is now gapping Monsu in second place in class by 8 positions. Huge river of penalties have been applied to different drivers, of which the most important I think it is Giovannini's one, because he has a 5-second penalty that will put... actually, it's not that bad, to be fair, since Ek is in 5th, 7 seconds behind Tansini. So for now, the only place that will be lost is his teammates one, which team-wise doesn't really change. But now you can see Brooker that has also gained on Ek. It's highly likely that there will be a switch in these positions, since Ek has been losing a good chunk of time, whilst Brooker made the same exact opposite, so gaining steadily, lap after lap, with the Honda that could go on to make a place. Oh, there is the Honda for now. There was a moment available for Brooker that has a 5-second penalty, so effectively this overtake will not really be physically viable. But Honda gains the place on Ek, and now they have to gain 5 seconds on them, otherwise they will lose back the place. Which for now is maybe likely, since Tansini is 8 seconds ahead, so there is a clean air for a good chunk of time. Penalties basically becoming more than the cars that are not penalized at this point. That is in the middle part of the grid. 15 seconds on Pizuk, 20 on White, 20 on Vagan, 15 on Monsu, 20 on Scaptura, Lopez 20, 15 on Robinson 2 in the 472, 5 on Giovannini, 5 on Brooker. I think I went 15 on Jacobs, 5 on Besselink. Maybe I went through DSQ entirely for Veltham. So clearly some physical racing in here. At this point Velvan will gain 3 seconds just by existing. So Velman with a huge front end damage too. You can also see here in front that for now effectively Poljovski goes over on the inside of the Mercedes, or the outside rather, and loses some time in the 222. Van Horn has been losing a good chunk of places. From the start of the race. In fact, Van Horn in the 18 was starting in 12th place. But apparently there is something not good with the car. 26th place only for the Assetto Racing team. Which has fallen steadily since the very start of the 6-hour race. Now the Ferrari goes over into the inside, into turn 2. You can see from here there is a very little margin to play with for Polchowski. But Ferrari for now can't really go over Van Horn, and Dashman remains for at the very least in 26th place. Again, that's not what this team was aiming for. You can see the markers on the tarmac, referencing where you have to brake, well, a rough approximation of where you have to brake. There is a good train here also, from Velman all the way down to Tironi, from 17th to 22nd. Velman also has some important front-end damage. The gap between Vaughan and White is 17 seconds, so at the moment... oh, not really, to be fair. So there are still 3 seconds that have to be gained, but White could be nearly is clear from losing positions after the pit stops will happen. Since there are 70 seconds between Vaughan and White, with Vaughan that will lose an eternity of time on the other hand. So Pizuko now has also a 15-second penalty. I'm trying to understand where they could end, and the answer is probably on the same position they are on right now. Since both Pizuko and White have the same exact... well, no, Pizuko actually has 5 seconds less compared to White. But yeah, for now, the penalty will not be too much impactful to them compared to, for example, the 27 that has a 20-second penalty in 23rd place. There is a 35 on Robinson. 45 seconds applied to Robinson, that's huge. Obviously that the penalty is from different incidents, but at the moment Robinson has a 45 seconds penalty on the 472's name in 25th place. A 45 second penalty will put them roughly, well, a lot further away from where they are right now. And the lone driver still here in the 18th place, second place in AM class, with a couple of races that have been done after Van Horn been losing time, and the 5, which I cannot recall what really happened to the number 5. Finally, there into the background, there is also Federico Tironi for Flat Out Sport. He goes on the inside of the Porsche number 300 of Van den Berg, making the place in a easy manner. And also Velman, who is nearly losing, which is actually, forget the nearly, about to lose the position number 17 with Handy that goes on the outside, breaks on the outside and on the curb and makes it into 17th place. Now next target is Vaughan in the 1-3, which actually is already getting overtaken, so next target is actually White, around 20 seconds up ahead. So he just has to remain in those 20 seconds to gain another place. Then it's Pisuk, another 5 in front compared to, no, 7 in front compared to White. Jacobsen went on to overtake Besselink. We can have a replay of the move for 30th place. Jacobs in the 87 overtaking a damaged Ferrari with Besselink in the number 81. That's a battle in overall class, not in class per se. And Harter goes over to try to overtake Hanivix in the T1 SR. Side by side between the two. And the 38 is still on the outside, trying to take the place, to defend the place, but Harter was just placed better. And the 177 is now in 12th place, with a battle that actually justifies the cost, since the Kieser is the one that they are aiming for. Fuazo just made a mistake, as you could see. The Kieser in the 141 McLeod Racing Team, possibly looking at the rear deck of his car and not seeing that the gap is getting maybe shorter. 2.7 seconds of now is steady. Also Captura that goes over into the inside of the last corner on Veldman. And the 2-1 obviously with some damage getting collected. It's not really having a nice moment, especially on the straights where already the Ferrari is not in great shape. The damage doesn't really benefit that car, unfortunately, because you can see that the pace is there, even with damage, trying to defend from the outside. The 2-1 goes over, trying to make the impossible, but Scapula has a tiny little advantage. The car is actually in one piece, and so Veldman loses the place on the TSC Racing Project D. The 93 gets the place done on Veldman, and now they're aiming for Handy in second place in class, although they have a 20-second penalty. So it's not really their position, this one here. Fastest lap at the moment remains Keenan's 30.4 with a 30.6 of Nakira following it. And also Honda's 166 30.6, but the last lap Keenan was actually a bit slower compared to Nakira, and not for the first time. In fact, the gap is just 3.7 seconds between the first and second placed cars. Cosimano also Maybe trying to find something out of Horvath. BMW. The 5-second penalty play to Brooker is, as time passes, getting less and less useful for the opponents. Ek is already 3 seconds behind, so still in range, but Shaber is another 2. So for now, Brooker will lose just a position. Which was one that is extremely close to the car ahead. The first second is the gap. Kuziman in the last lap made a 50.4. Oh wait, there's still beef here. The BMW was trying on the outside, makes it into the outside. With the Aston that stays on the inside. Obviously Hanevix has an eternity from the car behind. So at this point it is worth it trying to battle for an overall position. Arthur though remains in 12th. This actually just helped the Kieser gain some time to Arthur. Actually the BMW behind wants the place for a reason. But Aston obviously it is in their interest to stay in 12th place to at least have the car in front in sort of contention. Back behind is this Tironi with the Italian trying to go into 20th place. Which for now is in 21st place, but after penalties will be applied, it is going to be completely different, the story. With Handy that is just in the middle. Well, Handy and Velman are just in the middle of this train of penalties, but you can see here Tironi going as much as possible into the slipstream, and it's going to be the BMW on the inside, which takes the place on the McLaren's 20th. That Madame Mosu is trying to defend. Is it me or is it the server? Because I'm not losing. Okay. I don't want to know what happened. Okay, my internet is going steady. Okay, I'm not gonna ask what happened. The answer is not much at the very least. But it is still sort of normal. So as I was saying, the BMW is now in 20th place, trying to follow Bellman in just some meters in front. That will be for 19th place overall, but there is also Scheber extremely close to the car in front, which is X331, and it's already a job done for the 212. Is it? Scheber is still onto the inside. trying as much as possible to remain in front, and as a matter of fact the Bentley is now in front of the McLaren. Position getting gained by Bentley. So Schaber is back following Brooker. 6 seconds gap there, which actually translates in just 1.2 if you consider the penalties. So now the only one in this pack that will lose a place is Giovannini, and he will lose a place on Tansin, which is the teammate in the 52 McLaren, so altogether not a huge issue for Giovannini. This is Velman still leading this train as we're getting into the 65 minutes marker. Velman has some front end damage that has to be repaired. Ooh, the 87 is off. Oh, 87 off and nearly collided with another car. With a 512, there's been a contact here. Oh, you can see the incident here. It was the 512 going into the inside of the 87. So the McLaren was waiting for the Ferrari driver to get back on the road. And also now letting the faster cars pass by. That was the number 4 Nakira in second place. Lopez is very close now to the Porsche 300, also Van Ecker in the very same team. So maybe some teamwork has to be applied here, although Lopez has a 20-second penalty. Also Van den Berg going into the inside of Monsu that loses the place on Van den Berg and possibly even on Lopez. Oh, pretty wide. It's a bit impossible there. Oh, there is a contact! And Lopez is off and making more contact with the McLaren, and Lopez is spinning. Trying to remain on track. I don't know, that really went wrong. You can see the McLaren that was trying to defend contact, and another contact happened there. With Audi losing it and going into 26th place. Trying to defend against Polchowski in the 222 Ferrari Vesport. As Robinson here in front is utilizing this mayhem to maybe try to clinch another placement in the overall. As in class it will remain the same regardless, but it has to be said that Robinson has a 35 seconds penalty, so they are effectively gaining something out of nothing. 72, they also gains the place on the 68 that goes into the pits to maybe change the tires, repair the car, and certainly go and clear the penalty, which will see a huge difference from now, the grid. Really chunky 1-2. Currently the lead Ecker remains close to the car in front. Schaber maintains a gap of, well, Ecker maintains a gap of 7 times on Schaber. 41.7, 41.7 for both drivers. The two here are one of the closest fights that we have on track, but certainly the utmost fight we have. And since it's also important because Brooker is not that far away, those 5 seconds could be beneficial in a short amount of time. Oh, there is a contact here! And the 2-1-2! And the 3-3-1 were avoiding McLaren going sideways. That was number 41 of Sergio Osorio. We can see it back, what really happened there. So there was a contact with the BMW, no, there was no contact with the BMW, it was just an avoiding action with the BMW, with the two cars nearly colliding with said McLaren. So Horvath is now in... no, this one is not. Horvath is now in extremely close proximity to Eck in front, into turn 2. There could be a chance, but as it stands, the space to work is little. The three drivers have lost an eternity. 44.8 was the last lap for the two in 6th and 7th, with Horvath behind in gaining back 2 seconds and a half. The top 3 that is disappointed fighting for the position, because clearly Brooker will be free after those 5 seconds will be cleared. Seems like I could have a chance now that there is a BMW just in the middle of the way. Obviously Horvath is now looking at the situation with extreme calmness, because he doesn't really have to rush something. It's way better to just wait for them. Because a possible challenge from Eck could create a gap to Horvath to make a placement. It happened earlier the same way with the Bentley now in front. There was a chance to make an overtake on Cusimano, that then became a position lost from Shaber. BMW is behind, possibly thinking about the very same action that happened some time ago. With a grid that has come down a bit since the very start of the race. These three here have been lapping into the 32.5 with Horvath making a 32.2 in the last lap. Also in front, it's noteworthy that Keenan is 3 seconds up ahead. Ooh, the 182 is in the middle of the track. Was it a contact? But Ferrari is going extremely deep into the brakes. Yep, that was indeed a contact from Bethlink in 25th place. So those 5 seconds are very likely not to remain 5. They will very likely become at least 10. With the hill that is now in 28th place, losing some 10 seconds the pace. Eka goes into the pits, trying to undercut. Maybe Shaber could be an accessible opponent for the McLaren driver. With in the undercut, consider that it is 65 minutes a stint. Oh, Brooker extremely close to Tansini in front. This fight will not have any practical. Oh, in fact, Brooker goes into the inside. And in a very short amount of time, because the gap was... Oh, I think Tansini made a mistake, that's why. Because it is showing that he lost 3 seconds in the second sector. So now Brooker utilized that and went into 4th. The 166 Honda T1 SR. And Giovannini is another 5 ahead. Which would be nice. Unfortunately, even 166 has a 5-second penalty applied to their name. So ultimately, this overtake really doesn't change the things. Both Schaber and Nova continue on, so they will possibly go till the end of the stint. Then just tiny bit behind is Saraimo, that is losing some time from the Kieser. Gap is just 7 tenths between the two. Also a little bagarre between the 315 of Chris Pisuk and the number 3 of World Competition Racing. Even here there aren't really effective results. Both drivers have a 15-second penalty at least, with the number 3 that has another 5 applied for a total of 20. So this battle here is not really useful for them, although Handy is 22 seconds behind. So realistically the only issue at the moment is for... Oh, there is a 10-second penalty on Keenan being applied. So now Nakira is your lead of the race. And this is the only thing that has been applied to the name. Oh, I think yes. I think this is... but this is possibly not. 441 having a penalty. I'm not seeing anything on my race control. To check if I can just have a look. the reason for the penalty. There is control in the meantime, so we'll have a look at that. So Horvath for now still following closely Shaber. We both of them now are into the pits. Huh? Okay. Control. I just need a risk control. It is not showing anything here. I'm not really sure why. We just need to. It's very odd. Anyway, here it is the 43 also into the pits, so everyone jumping into the pits, they really don't have any chance to make it after. Can in fact also into the pits in this river of cars that will also have to redeem themselves after the penalties. "10 seconds to the leader, so Nakira effectively now in the lead of the race. Oh, here it is. Oh, the incidents have. So the 10 seconds is. It was that one. It was indeed the incident that I showed you with the 352. That was a 10-second penalty being applied to the leader of the race. And I already them here. I want to see the DSQ if it was the DSQ is from something else. So I'm not seeing any DSQ in the standings or rather in the paper. So now you can see that Michele Ceglia now driving number 4, also in the lead of the race after an hour, where he had gained himself a penalty. Number 11 now into top 3. I want to see Robinson's penalties now that I am here. So honestly, there have been so many penalties that I kind of lost. It was a 20 plus 15. The 20-second was applied because of a contact with the car number 18. So I suppose it was this one here. So this wasn't the reason, but I think it's a bit too late to go for the replays. Mogretti in the 177 for TAC Racing, just behind Takari in the 71. With the penalties that have been redeemed, all of them. We've got now Ceglia in the number 4, Keenan in the 441, then Rebecca in 11. With Not in the 166 Honda, Zachary behind in the 52 Horvath, overtook now Murasaki driving the 212 Bentley. With a good chunk of cars that have changed the positions. The Ferrari behind now trying to unlap themselves. That Ferrari is trying to find it. I think it is the 87. It is indeed the 87 of QRT. Making a move to unlap themselves. Is also here a bit of a battle for 20th place between Marcelino in the 1, 2, 3 and Pasquinelli in the number 5. With the 1-2-3 that gains the place. Number 20 on Pasquinelli. Now driving number 5. Flat out Esport. Karner that goes into the pizza. Very much out of sync. This is effectively after their stint, so they really pitted at a very early moments. Possibly some damage had to be repaired early on. But here in front we have now the number 4 leading the pack with a 4-4-1 FRL, and then we got Vesta Sport 11, the Ferrari. And the McLaren. Ah, okay, yes. Okay, Zachary is now in the 52 here. Okay. Is he behind? So it's very odd. Ah, there was some damage to be repaired to Zachary's car in the 52, subbing for Tansini, which put them actually behind the Honda, leaving the 11 still in the podium. That's why I was a bit confused by the look of things. And the 166 41 SR altogether remained in 4th place. Actually gained in 4th place. With Horvath still driving the number 80 for, you can see, the MSRs in 7th place. Then we got the McLaren 331 that actually lost the place on the AVT. Then behind it is the Vesta Sports number 51 with the Kieser in the 141, very close to the number 51. Gap very little between the two. Now into the straight, these Aston Martin and the McLaren ahead aren't really that different in the straight. The situation keeping the same for now. Later in the 51 still maintaining the 9th place. This is for the moment the closest fight we got in the race so far. Not really. There is another one. Here it is Barth losing 2 places on both Tobin and Horman. This is what happened. So it was the Ferrari of QRT making it into the inside and gaining the place number 30. Also now Walsh that gains the place on the Munich, the 475 Simtech Racing compared to the 301 Gazelle Motorsport. But back here, where in front there's just the McLaren number 51. Last lap was a 2.0 for both drivers. What a big change in their timing. Oh, that is very close to the diffuser. Of the 51 that started for Vesta Sport in 9th place, so for now they remain in the very same place they started from. And a 1-for-1 that started for McLaren Racing Team in 13th place. And now is it? It is in... not really sure which position it is, because it is still 10th place. I thought for a moment there was a chance to go into 9th. That didn't happen there for the Kieser. Losing also the line of the corner, and since a lot of time, Simoncelli here for Vesta Sport getting overtaken by Vessels. That was him, not me for once. Ooh, nearly making contact also with the McLaren behind of QRT. Braking a bit early. Vessels gets a drive-through for exceeding track limits. And the Blowitz now is into the inside. You can see now the BMW that will have to go through the pit lane at 50 kilometers per hour for exceeding track limits. And now Curtin is going for the Assetto Racing Team onto the 222 that loses another place from 23rd to 25th, and the QRT behind also gains the place. That's for overall position. It's not helping that he is constantly getting sent into the pits. I'm not really sure why. And to be fair, it is not the first time I've been seeing him getting sent into the pit from also the racing control. Oh, also losing the rear, and also Soler. Soler gets in front of Simoncelli, disappearing from time to time. Oh no, that is not... that's Lamborghini is actually the number 2 of Kiss. Here it is Curtin also overtaking Vessels because he went into the pit, and same goes to Barf because he gained. He received a track limit violation. And here it is the Kieser that actually overtook later into the straight. We can have a look at the replay of what really happened. Was it impeding by their teammates? I think it was. And then a lunge into the inside. Tiny bit of impeding by the teammates, so maybe a bit of help. Unfortunately, the replay was a bit late on that moment. And into the last corner, it happened there. So the Kieser is now in 9th place for McLaren Racing Team. As now Keenan is also very close to the car in front of Ceglia. That's the number 4 for Flat Out Racing eSport. That's for the lead of the race. Keenan has been pretty rapid compared to Ceglia. 41.2, 41.2. This time around it was the same, but the lap prior it was 41.8 for the Italian in front, whilst the Irish made up 31.2 even the lap prior. In fact, now you can see the gap has been halved. Halved, not even, way more. Oh, the 51 is off! Oh, the 51 is not even off. It has spun. Losing places now. Was it a contact? It wasn't a contact, it was a bit too greedy over the inside, throwing the car out of the way, and now Leita is in 14th place, behind Anivix, Macoretta and Takari 2. 16 seconds have been lost by Leita in the last lap. Oh, another car is off. It is the 254 in 43rd place in the very same spot. 2. So now Ceglia has clean air in front. But if we look at the rear, there is a very angry Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3. This Ferrari will be great, as you could already see. It is great during the, I would say, latest part of the stint, but in the very beginning, the Mercedes has an advantage that few other cars have. That's also why it is one of the most picked cars in esports too. This is not only is the battle for the lead, but it also is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment. Last lap it was 41.1 and 30.9. This time around 41.4, 41.0. And I think it is closer. I think it is closer. There could and should be a switch in the upcoming laps. Personally, I don't think the Italian has the strength to match the pace of the car behind, but he could at least defend. Interesting to say that also Rebecca in third place is gaining a whole lot of gap. Now 8.6 seconds is the gap between Rebecca and Keenan, with the laps that have been steadily into the 41.0. So if these two start battling, there could be a chance for the Ferrari 11. That is now in fourth place for Vesta Sport, starting in fifth. Now trying to gain back the pace on the top two after the 5 seconds penalty that have been applied to their name earlier on. The number 11 was accounted for an incident a lot of time ago. It was for... Where are you? It was for a cut across the track blocking 331 on Apex. Bit harsh. Who's in front? You could hear rather, a couple of cars getting overtaken. I think in the last lap there has been some loss in time for the two drivers here. Oh, Takari is off. Takari made an important mistake because he lost the place on Macoretta. It was not from behind, it was just... I think he just lost the rear. And Macoretta made a pass, same as Keenan, that now could deliver the overtake, but it doesn't. And rightfully so, because that Ferrari there could break miles after. And they are already losing a good bunch of time. 32.0. Celia's last lap. Keenan made a 31.8 compared to Rebecca that made a 31.5 in the last lap. The two here that are still very close together. Oh, there is a mistake there! Oh, there is a mistake. Celia made a mistake. Break the way too late. And Keenan didn't ask twice and made the pass as soon as possible. And now Keenan has free air in front. Not only to get away from Rebecca, but also from Celia. So now the top one placement is back into the Irish hands. So now Keenan will have free air without too much trouble. Oh, Rebecca made also a mistake. Clearly, since the gap is now 10 seconds from the car in front. Giocatore here. Close to Murasaki in the 212 Bentley. That's the 212 that is from MSR. With some Spino Racing. Because I know that saying MSR, some may think that it's Meyer Shank Racing. Which honestly is not a good thing. It's more a derogatory statement. Because of the whole disaster of the pressure that still they are being joked on to this day. They practically had to close the... Oh, Marcelino is off! Marcelino is off in a 1-2-3. Oh, there was a contact from behind. It was indeed a contact from behind. It was the McLaren. Number? It doesn't show me. Thanks a lot. There was a McLaren there. Clearly made a contact with the 1-2-3. And also the 300 was showing good. Not really sure there. So we're staying back here. With Zakata gain the place of Murasaki now. For 7th place. Could be a chance from behind, but that doesn't happen. So Bentley now has to gain back the place. Oh no, okay, it was the 41, now it is showing. It was the number 41. They made a contact with the 1-2-3. 41 that is in last place. Maybe now into the inside. Oh, nothing really happens even here. I think at this point Zakata will have a good chance to stay where he is, whilst here it's a bit different. The car in front is Zachary Swan in the 52 McLaren. To McLaren that is of the Vesta Sport team. We're starting in 4th place, now in 5th. And there is a chance that it could become soon 6th, as last lap of Orvath made a 6 times gain on the car in front now. 21 seconds away from the leader, and gaining another 6 times, so maybe not this one, but the next one could certainly be an important lap for Horvath, the number 80 CTR Masters. Into the splitter we go. This is information to the cars in front. Keenan is already 2.5 seconds ahead, making 31 steadily, with Celia making 32 in this lap. And Rebecca behind that is trying to catch at least 2nd place holder driver. So cars up in front are either battling for position or one lap in the other. I think it is the latter. Because we're not seeing any overtake between a BMW and a Ferrari. Murasaki is still in 8th place, trying to retain the gap to the car in front. Still a second is present between the two, but regardless, they still. Oh, Zachary made a mistake there! Into the outside, clearly lost the braking point, and 8 is now into the inside. That then becomes the outside, so not a great situation for Horvath, as Hungarian is now over the outside. Some rear end damage for the 52, which I don't know when that happened. It could also be old damage that hasn't been repaired. Maybe some damage that sparkled from the lag I had a couple of minutes ago. So yeah, it's also possible that nothing really happened to that car. Not is also 4 seconds ahead, and these two are gaining on him. So there is a chance to Horvath and the CTR Masters to gain not only 1 but 2 places in a short amount of time. You can see Horvath very close to the car in front. It's a reminder that they all have at best 3 track limit violations available. We saw already some drivers getting a drive-through for exceeding those 3 and getting a 4th one. That will be extremely important when or if the leaders will have some of that. Penalties. One of these two are the closest on track, although there is a bit of a fight in 31st place between Gavaleu, Jones, Conway and Sherrard. For 31st place. Speaking of which, you can see Jones extremely close, but close alongside the car in front with Audi that loses the place, and the McLaren that goes a bit further of the track limits and loses the place on the BMW behind of Sherrard. So double overtake for the 4 drivers, and also the Audi in close contention to lose another place. But here in front, for now, the situation remains the same, more or less. Lap it was a 41.7 for the car in front of Orvath, making a 41.9. Also, these two are getting I won't say closer, more rather they're getting chased by Zakdal behind. It is making very good lap times for now. 41.7 was the last lap for the Swedish driver, 3.5 seconds behind. So these two are effectively in a sandwich, where in front there is not going a bit slower than these two, and Zakdal behind is going a bit faster than these two, and both are in a very odd situation, with not losing on Zachary, losing on Orvath, losing on Zakdal. Not the last lap at the very least, since this time around it was Zachary that made the better of the 4. For the 1.2 was Zachary's last lap. Now the gap is 1.1 seconds, but still it is not that is losing some time for T1SR in 4th place, lapping into the 41.6, which is not a bad lap. Considering that the two in front are lapping slower. But Zachary is just going faster than them. 31.2, and effectively it was the fastest race lap in the 62nd lap. Oh, the 43 is off somewhere, because I can't really see where. Oh, they went into the Assetto roof a bit to hit it up, and unfortunately the 43 is into the gravel for QRT, trying to spin around as quick as possible, and finding themselves in 27th place, with Horman in front for QRT, battling with Nobben in the Astro Racing Team 18. 5 seconds have been applied to the car number 1, 2, 3. 5 seconds penalty. For this one. For pushing the 41 off track. 5 seconds have been applied to their TS3 State Racing. Drive tour applied to 2 different drivers and teams respectively. It is Pasquinelli in number 5 in 18th place, and drive through also for Tom Curtin in the Astro Racing Team Ferrari in 23rd place overall, but more importantly in 6th in IM class. Number 5 now into the pits. Same possible applies to Curtin shortly. Foreman here still closely following the Mercedes in front of Nobben. Pasquini gets back on track in 21st place. So the QRT car number 87 for now, just behind the 18, finding some traffic. Curtin still hasn't freed himself from the penalty that's been applied earlier on. So you can see the Mercedes there in front of overtaking the Ferrari. Number 4 is the other way, but I can guess it is okay, 71 is written over it. Number 71 oh, okay, that's a bit different from my thought. It actually is the 71 in 11th place, losing some lot of time, getting well, I won't say lapped, but technically that could be called it, because the car in 26th place is faster than them, with the 18 that unlapped themselves from car in 11th. So Takari in this point is not really providing a great performance. 33.9 was the last lap for the Italian, with Hanevix behind that is gaining a massive amount of time. I wonder if there is some issues. Oh, two cars have collided there. It's the 472 and the 27 of Conway and Gnulu. You can see what happened there. So these two were fighting for 34th place. And then I suppose a contact happened. In fact, it was a contact between the two drivers, with Audi going to the left of the track and the McLaren going to the right. And again trying to overtake the very same manner. Oh, there was some contact behind from the Ferrari, and now Horvath passes through. This really helps Zachary in 5th, gaining some time from Horvath. You can see the McLaren here are still trying. And effectively making it into 34th place on the Audi. Hanevix here, 41 SR, who has gained an impressive amount of time. Last time around for Takari was a 34.2. So clearly something is not working on that car. Because all of a sudden 71 is not really having a great time. And if Hanevix doesn't make it quick enough, it's going to be later, very close to them. Ooh, 5! Yellow flags being shown. Was it a contact? Or was it something else? Something happened to the number 5 of Pasquinelli, making contact effectively with the car in front. It was the 1, 2, 3 state racing of Marcelino, giving some rear end damage from that. And Hanevix makes the place on Takari, going extremely wide on, well, entry and exit simultaneously. losing the place overall. So yeah, definitely Takari has some issues because now the lap times have been dropping. I won't say massively, more like dramatically is the correct word. A bit behind it is Blowitz in 26th place, having some look at the rear wing, because some drivers are joining the fight for 26th place overall. Courtney that gained the place back on the Audi, on the McLaren. Ooh, the keys there. No. From it he was dropping from the leaderboard. I can suspect simply a lag spike for some reasons. Gerald here is currently trying the move on Simoncelli in the 222 Ferrari. But is not having a great time either. Courtney is now in 27th place after the drive-through, so she will be faster than the cars around them. But here it is Gerard going into the inside of the 222 and Simoncelli on the outside trying to defend. And the Ferrari behind, which I think it is the number 4, going to lap 31st and 30th placed car. You can see Simoncelli that will let, not without some, I won't say defending obviously, but just keeping the interest on the team rather than the leading car. So trying to keep a more inner line, rightfully so. And now the BMW is trying to go into the inside, side by side, into the S with the BMW that goes for a more wider line, but it was a bit too wide and the German car ended up losing more time than gaining. Up in front for now, the situation remains practically the same. Simoncelli remains in 30th. But it could change in a matter of time. Meanwhile, up in front, it is Marcelino and Pasquinelli still battling for 20th, although Pasquinelli already has the position after a 5-second penalty has been applied to the 1, 2, 3 three-state racing. For now it is the only car that has a penalty applied to their name. And here for 12th place it is Takari and Leita. But they are teammates, so there will not be a fight altogether for the place. Number 12. So still here for 20th place. There's a possibility for Pasquini. At this point, he's just trying to overtake Mascherino, not for effectively having the place, but more so to try to gain back those 12 seconds, gapping them from Van Eyck onto the outside. The 5 tries to go into the outside, but the idea was good. They went into the marbles though, which made them lose grip and therefore exit speed. 4 hours to go to the racing. Maybe that is the chance into the flat out left-hander. Oh, and the 5 is on. 5 is on into Bernat Martinez, turn number 8. And as a matter of fact, the position was already theirs. But now it is even on track, their position. Now behind it is La Roque. 1.5 seconds behind the BMW. The 123 is for now steadily there, keeping the ground. And just in front of them it is Mark Bayliss trying to go for the move on Conway into turn 1. And 7 seconds behind, we were watching it from another point of view, but it is Guevelewe going in Barf's placement, 36th place for the team number 27. For Era Esports, in the Audi, one of the few Audis that we have on track at the moment. Back in the very lead pack, here it is Marco Zaccari, 52. Last lap it was a 42.1, so some time has been lost by not, but you can see that now the gap is 2.2 seconds from the Honda driver. The gap was around 5 seconds earlier on, then it steadily became 3.5. Now some more gap has been taken out from Nott's car. There's going to be a pit rush in around 15 to 20 minutes. With Horvath that has been losing a very tiny amount of time every lap on average, and now the gap is 1.7 seconds. They were battling for position earlier on, but the BMW has lost the chase, not really on pace alone, but more because of the BMW's proficiency of eating the tires. It's not really a great car to play with in that regard. The car is way better in a specific subject. Last up didn't help Zaccari, that made a 32.4. Compared to the 31.7 earlier on of Not. This time it's the other way around. with not losing an entire second on Zachary. 32.5 against a 41.5, with a Porsche in front going a bit out of, slightly out of bounds, just slightly. It's the Porsche number 300 of Sluter, so lot of teams are already getting lapped. 15 teams remain on the lead lap, with Handy getting lapped just now for the 15th place, so effectively it's going to be 14 teams on the lead lap. There are a safety car in these. There could be, but not here. So batting for the lead lap doesn't really have much sense here. And in fact, 787 is now in lap number 73 and not 74. Marcelino for now still keeping the pace with the car in front of Pasquinelli in number 5, but as I said earlier, those 5 seconds are impactful for a reason. So battling for any placement at the moment is not useful. Kind of goes into the pits. So for now, some drivers are going to jump into the pits, maybe to make an undercut or just to try something different altogether, because they have a different tactic, with Mark Conway being the first one in this regard. McLaren 472 for Simtac Racing. So Zachary's and not race stream has been oddly up and down, up and down. It hasn't been constant, because I'm seeing from lap time that there are some 41.5 and then 42.5, one lap to the other, without seemingly any particular issue, since as you can see from the minimap, both drivers don't have a single car in their surroundings, or at least in close proximity. So I'm not really understanding it, because this time around not made a 31.5, 31.3 for Zachary, which is absolutely very fast, but the consistency is clearly not there for the Italian, nor for the British driver. Because if one of the two would be a bit more consistent, we would see definitely some other outcome from this little chase. The moment the track is pretty calm, there aren't many fights for placements. Compared to the usual, for now the situation is pretty calm. There aren't any situation. I'm seeing here that SimGrid actually was in front of the BMW. You can see that it's SimGrid completely loses the braking mark and loses the place on the Munich in 30th. SimGrid now in 29th place after Horman. Exit the pits! And very narrowly avoids disaster. He definitely has some hotter tires at the moment in the rear, but that really didn't help the situation. Oh, there are a couple of cars also. Oh, it was the 222 again. But it was a contact, I think, this time around. So there was some contact with a Ferrari passing through, then losing the rear, and the situation was not connected to the McLaren that was the 512 in last place at the moment. Oh, the 254 also out of the track altogether. I saw for a brief moment a contact from the car behind. Oh no, it was just themselves going for a spin after braking on the Assetto. And the 300 also has some issues, and I can see from the tire marks that this happened because of braking off the Assetto and... Oh no, wait! Completely wrong. It is the wrongest thing I've ever said. I don't even think this word exists. I don't care. It was definitely a contact between the 300, and I can't know which car because it doesn't show. But it clearly was some contact from behind. 10 seconds have been lost, so they also lost the position on the 221 Ferrari. Now Van Eyck is very close to them. And somehow it is still not showing which car it was. But now the push in front could be effective opponent to the next situation. I mean, for now, the situation remains the same as Van Eyck goes into the pits. So, demolishes everything I was about to say. So, we better to move the camera here with Soler. Half a second behind La Roque. This is not for a position in class, but it is for a position overall. Top 10 is in Pro Class, with the first I am in Hanevik's name in the 38. And as soon as I said that the situation in front remains the same, Zachary in the single lap gained an entire second, and the lap is not over yet. 1.7 seconds between Zachary and not. So that chase is still going on. In the very lead, Keenan is still 13 seconds ahead of Celia. That could have been 23, if not for the penalty. Rebecca behind is now 5 seconds behind the number 4. With not following, but it is a 6-hour race, and it's not a single driver effort, it's actually a team driver effort. There is still a lot of time to go. Greta goes into the pits from 10th place. As I said, now the pit lane will start getting busy around now. Assia for 21st place. The Aston Martin remains in front. The Aston Martin there is the 93 for TSE Racing. Whereas for the Eagles Esports, number 742, the Frenchman here is on his way to try to get a position up in the standing. That will be the 20th. Before still nothing has changed dramatically. Furthermore, for who doesn't know, the weather is being taken by the real life events. At the moment it remains cloudy. It doesn't seem that it will rain anytime soon. These two are literally lapping the very same lap times. La Rock has a bit less than the Frenchman, but they are really taking the fight on the number 300, of which replay never, it will never be able to appear in my screen. I'm not really sure how that wasn't captured by my race control. Like that, clearly that happened. In the standing, you can see that now Zakharala in the 3-1 is just ahead of Pizuk, but that's because of pit lane situation. And pretty interesting here, it is not and Zachary that both went into the pits, but clearly Zachary gained a bit more time into the pits. No, maybe not. No, okay, I'm looking at the lap time. It really isn't. It's just the gap is a bit glitched for now. The gap remains the same into the 1 second point something. And for now, very close to Pisuk though. This is for an effective placement. You can see the purple BMW here is not Pisuk's BMW. This is the white one up there. The 3-1 has to go away from Handy's eyes, and as a matter of fact, it happens as soon as possible. So Handy is effectively battling with Henivix in 11th. The overall placement is always good to have. So Zachary effectively has gained some time. You can see the gap is now very, very much less. With a single digit on... Well, not even, because it's even less than 1. It is 0.5, the gap between Notansini and Brooker, the 166. So the Vesta Sports car clearly has now the chance to get into what will become 4th place after the pit lane has cleared up. The lap time will be slightly different with different drivers on the racing cockpit. Still a tiny bit of time before the situation becomes steadier. reflex showing. It's a 474 that is having some trouble into turn 1. Oh, it seems like Brooker has some more chance compared to Tansini into 8th place. Doesn't seem like that there is a huge difference between the two, but obviously an effective lap time being delivered could help the standing. What the situation is. And Pizuk in the 315 has been hit with a drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits for the run DJC Racing. So drive-through for exceeding track limits for the 315 that unfortunately will have to lose a good chunk of time. And this also means the 13th place, quite obviously. So he's still out. He still hasn't made a pit. For some reason, oh, stop and go 30 for the 300. So the Gazelle Motorsport unfortunately will have a stop and go 30 seconds that will have to be delivered at the very last, at the end of the 3rd lap from now. But clearly this will not help the 300 in some difficulty, and now Nopek is in the very lead of the race, and the 441 is now leading 12 seconds on Nakira in number 4, and Giovannini not that far away. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised. This is because of the number 4's pit lane mistake, because they have been putting the car in the wrong spot. So they lost 3 seconds, and Giovannini gained those 3 seconds. And now there is just a second and a half between the two Italians, with Brooker 5 seconds ahead, 5 seconds behind, and Tansini. It's just a single second from this. For now, these two are the closest effective fight that we have on track at the moment. 1 second is the gap between Brooker and Tansini, with Brooker that made the last lap at the very least faster than Tansini's one. 31.3, 41.5 is situation between the two. Oh, there is good. Oh, maybe there is contact. There is contact between the two drivers. That was the Lamborghini number 2. There was some contact. The number 2 has oddly braked just in the middle of the way. Okay, that was quite honestly, okay, this was I don't understand this one. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't understand why braking and then accelerating and then braking in the racing line. But okay. So Velman gets the place done on Coles. That exited the drive-through to get into 15th place behind Velman in the 221 FRL Ferrari. Very close to Lani is Garby's McLaren. fact, you can see 4 tenths is just the gap between Lani and Garbi, with the Hungarian team in the number 80's hands for CTR Masters, having to kind of rush to retain the position. Number 6, 33.2, very slow lap by Lani compared to the 32.2 on Garbi's wheels, and an astonishing 30.8 from Shaber in the Bentley 212 for the German team. Nearly one of the fastest cars on track, because the fastest one is Nakira in number 4, Flat Out Sim Racing in 2nd place, gapping as much as possible Giovannini in the least amount of time, and effectively there is already a 5 seconds ocean between the two. It was barely one at the beginning of the stint. Stanzini, even after the damage, apparently can keep the pace with Brooker, but the damage really doesn't help the whole chasing. While here Lani is having some more trouble to Garbi. Gap is now little to none. Oh, there is a Lamborghini literally going sideways. Who was that? Was it still the 2? Okay, it was still the 2. How? Okay, so it all happened by themselves. Okay. So still Lani is there in front. Just half a second is the gap between Lani and Garbi. There could be a chance now that there are a couple of cars on the very front of the Hungarian driver. This could really help the Swedish driver to get a chance over the BMW. In fact, the BMW goes in the right. Left side for the McLaren. Now the question is which one of the two has the better braking, and the answer is the BMW in the number 80's wheels. I was saying shoes, but they don't really have shoes. Are the wheels, maybe? Tires? Not really sure which one. So, see the two one after the other. .2 was the last lap for Garbi, 32.4. So now Schaber also. Very close to the two in front there. 40.7 was the last lap for Schaber. Oh, that was a bit of a curb jump for the BMW that nearly loses the car altogether. Oh, braking very early here. The 331 very much on the edge. It was actually the 331 that made the overtake. Unfortunately, the two cars have the same livery, so for a moment I thought it was the fifth one getting overtaken. It's actually another car, which I think it is, just trying to guess, but I think it is the 41 there. With the number 80, that loses the place on Michael Garby, and Schaber very close to the car here. I want to try to check it back if I can. So you can see from Lenny's perspective rather, going a bit too much wider, losing the place on the McLaren, and then it was, I think it was the 41, braking there to let the other two pass by. So now Schaber has now Schaber may have a clear chance to make the pass on the BMW number 80 of Lani. Now the McLaren has some clear air in front, 15 seconds between themselves and Tansini in 5th. Lani here is, I won't say constantly losing time, but rather having a bit of a slower pace. So Schaber clearly needs to overtake the BMW as quickly as possible, and I think now is the time, with the Haiti that had a not great exit from the very exit, with the very same corner that early on led them to lose a place. So Lani loses a second one. So 8th place for the 80. So now Schaber's next target is the one in front. It's the car number 331 McLaren FRL. Little rear grip loss for Schaber here for the German driver. Clearly not even following, but at this point just going quicker than Garby up there, that managed to gain a place after so much time, and then it could be very, very quick for the 6th place McLaren to lose it all. In just a couple of laps after the effective first move. So Shaver, as of now, is meters away from the McLaren there in the 51's position number 6. 32.1 was the last lap for Garby, so an entire second has been gained by Shaber. 474, oh, 71! 71 has collected some damage, it's quite clear. I really want to see the reason there. Oh, it was, unfortunately, it was the Lamborghini in the middle of the track. So Pretto lost some seconds, nothing too much to worry about, but even some time has been lost. We'll sit side by side between the two. Shaber still maintaining a certain gap of 2 tenths. In fact, the last lap was practically the same, with 31.6, 41.5 between Garby and Shaber. It's quite obvious that Bentley has some more pace, but first you have to actually make a pass. Full position. And in fact, this will happen just now. Into the inside they go, and the Bentley gets position number 6 with Garby in the 3-3-1. Losing the place. Finale 2-1 SR has gained a lot of time to Giovannini in front. You can see the McLaren, not this one here, this is the 68 in 36th place. This is the Ferrari there, number 11. As initially was very close to Nakira, and unfortunately as time passed for them, gap became more and more, to the point that now it's Brooker. Sort of a warning sign, a gigantic warning sign, with now the BMW outside. It was nearly going into the inside to that is done. Oh, 87! Sander Jacobs showing yellow flag with the number 38, so I suspect a contact has happened there. It was indeed the number 68. 3-2-1. It's not showing the one I wanted. Still the 87 having some trouble, losing some more places. Sander Jacobs still here on the apron. Now in 24th or 25th place. Not a great situation. And the reason for the incident is this one. No, this is already the tail end. Some more contact happened. I think it is this one then. So yeah, it was this one with the car number 38. Oh, it was just very unfortunate. Number 38. That is only 33rd place after being in the very lead. Oh, because they had a drive-through for exceeding track limits. I have missed that. They had a drive-through for exceeding track limits. They lost the lead in class, and then also this doesn't help the situation. We know Davidson driving the car number 38 in 33rd place only now. They were starting in 14th. So Brooker still remains so still here it's Brooker in the 166. Against the 11. Still for the podium. This is effectively for the podium position, so not really the lowest of placements. There could be a chance here, more or less, for Brooker. But again, very close between the two. Number 55 in 31st place is having some trouble in the middle of the straight, with the first and second sector split. But we remain here for now with Brooker now having a good chance to get into the podium. The Honda that was for a brief moment the meta car that everyone drove, and it went back to the garage to collect dust. And now it's being recollected from those who like it after the BOP in the LFM settings gained life, with numerous community utilizing it as much as possible, because it is a definitely good balance of performance compared to the Curious one, which, even if the original one, sometimes it lacks a lot of data. This one utilizes effective data from the drivers. Brooker was gaining a ton of time coming into the chase of the podium place. Then it started to go a bit less towards them. Being stuck behind this Ferrari that has astonishing defensive proficiencies. Firstly, it brakes 1,000 years later. It has very good cornering, and on the race stream, it really delivers. You don't really lose pace with this car, which is something that is quite rare. It's mostly a bit of a cliff, the usual. in some cars, whilst Brooker is now side by side with a Ferrari. And into the inside they went. So now Brooker is into the podium position. After keeping the rhythm with his Ferrari for the entire duration of practically from the very beginning of the stint until now. And now Giovannini is in 4th place with Brooker that will now collect the pace and try to go into Nakira placement, which is the number 2. 17 seconds are the gap between the seconds between Brooker and Nopek. And just 7.5 between Brooker and Akira. Although Akira is effectively a bit faster than Nopek on average. The gap is now 9 seconds between the two, plus 7 more. So it's actually, the bottom of the lead is actually pretty on, with still 3 hours and a half to go. Giovannini unfortunately has lost the place in sort of easy way by Brooker. It wasn't a dive bomb, it was more taking initiative on the tiny little mistake that has happened there. And now there is the comeback, because now Giovannini goes into the inside after a mistake by Brooker. And again into the inside, Giovannini gaining back the 3rd place. We can see back what really happened to Brooker. Oh, he went just wide, okay. And just saved the car. I wasn't sure if it was slowing down for track limit, because I'm feeling the camera was a bit further away than expected. So for a moment I thought it was just braking to avoid a track limit. It was actually just surviving from the curbs. So again, Brooker lost the place on Giovannini in 3rd place once more, but these two are actually losing the train on the top 2. As we go back into Brooker's point of view, trying to go for a dive bomb. Okay, now I think I really think that Jay Brooker in the 1661 SR is a bit nervous, you can see, compared to earlier where he was just waiting for the moment and steadily remaining behind. Now he's clearly more aggressive, trying to throw the car whatever way it is possible, and likely very frustrated because clearly he took 1,000 years to get the overtake down, and then the lap after the mistake happened. Now some lapped cars that the Italian has to get rid of may help the British driver behind, lapping into the 41.7 back again. With Honda that goes on and takes initiative as soon as possible. These lap cars clearly helping the Honda behind in a certain way. That is the Assetto Racing team, Mercedes-Benz. in 22nd place. Very easy to find because it is the only Mercedes apart from the leader. Oh, there is a car going in the middle of the track. Oh, there is contact. Oh, there is a crash. And Brooker is off and Giovannini too. And the Assetto Racing team also is off too. That's because of 934 going sideways in the middle of the racetrack. And unfortunately, both Giovannini and Brooker has been taken off by these. And Tansini is now into the podium. With also Shaber overtaking the Honda driver. Oh, that is a massive one. That is unfortunately a massive one. You can see back the replay. You can see the Porsche going sideways. Unfortunately, the Ferrari went to the right at the very last moment, making a contact with 11. Giovannini, you can see from the inside, you can see the Porsche going sideways, overreacting at the very last moment, and then crashing with his opponent. Now there should be just side damage for both cars, but both have lost plenty of time. With Novak in 36th place, being the quote-unquote culprit of the incident. Big one there between two guys that were fighting for the podium, and now they are both out of the podium, with Tansini gaining. So ultimately for Valencia Sport it doesn't change much. There is still a car in the podium and there is still a car in 4th place. It changes a lot for the drivers, obviously. A bit of overreacting, in my opinion. But that really wasn't the place nor time for that to happen. It's one of those cases where it's just very unlucky that this happens. So 13 seconds behind Nakira. It's not Giovannini anymore nor Brooker, but it is Tansini, the 52. Car that started in 4th place. With Giovannini started in 5th and Schauber started in 6th. So the worst outcome is just for the Honda that was starting in 3rd. There's still a chance for the Honda to make it back to some more places, since for now the pace seems there. It doesn't seem like they've lost too much time. I mean, apart from the time being lost. But I mean, in terms of car performance, it doesn't seem like the car has suffered too much from that. Even more so because I think it was completely side damage for the Honda. A bit more unlucky for the Ferrari, which has some clearly front-end damage, but even for them, it seems like it's not that big of a deal. The car maintains the pace. Although it's a bit slower, 42.0. Brooker clearly didn't lose too much, 41.6 is still there. Although the most has been made just because they completely lost the car. You don't need the science to address that, but those 10 seconds will never go back. The gap from the lead for Brooker is 36 seconds, not 26 anymore. So Brooker has just a second half from... Ooh, there is a contact. Aero is 72 is still on track. Never mind. It showed me yellow flags on their car. Here it is a teamish. The number 3 West Competition Racing. Following Tironi. So this fight has been going on for a bit of a time. Number 5 and number 3 that have been... Oh, there is a car off. This is number 68 into turn 1. Oh, trying to regain back into the track, but there was a car already on the racing line. The 68 now in 36th place has lost the place there because of that. So our penalty applied, 5 seconds on... where is it? Okay. Ooh, Besselink very close to the car in front. Half a second to Coles, because that becomes 0. Enter inside, and the number 315 that was once in the very close proximity of the top 10 is now fighting to stay at least in the top 20. Also, there was a car passing through. It was the number... I think it was the number 50... No, wait. Okay, I will not speak because I don't know which number it is, but it is one of the Vesta Sports Ferraris that passed through. A bit behind, I was saying that Brunix has a 5-second penalty, so here effectively is already in 28th place. Longden is half a second behind the car number 38 of Davidson, which is now in 33rd place. Former leader in IM class. So I guess it was good while it lasted for them, fortunately. With Besana that has a 10-second penalty, but for now we'll keep them in 31st place. And there is another 10 seconds on Bro in number 2, and I can understand why. And the Brooker just here is now fighting in 5th place. Only 6 times from Shaber. Last lap it was a 41.5 for Brooker, 32.3 for the Bentley driver for the German team for Mission Spino Racing. There could still be... There certainly is time for the car in here for the 166 to make the place. Oh, there is a bit of incomprehension between two drivers. It was the McLaren in last place and the Bentley nearly going for a contact, whilst the drive-through has been issued to the number 43 in 23rd place for exceeding track limits one too many times. They will have to go through a drive-through for this very reason. Now the Honda is obviously in close proximity of the German here. With going for the move here, there is a chance. Well, a chance obviously, it was extremely hypothetical as a chance, but there could have been a chance. Still in this lap, 32.9 for Shaver, 32.6 for Brooker. The clear has been slowed down by the Bentley driver. Also, gap has been created, but some gap compared to earlier. It is definitely some more gap. With a 212 that still remains in an exceptional 5th place after what happened earlier. And I can say that possibly both cars that have been in that incident are not as heavily impacted as I thought. Seems like both are on a good page. Not the best, but clearly. And I think I lost momentarily the connection. Okay, I think it is back to normal. I don't know why I do have these lag spikes today. It's very odd since usually it's all working. But it seems like I'm back to normality. The gap remains on the 7 temps. Now even a second for a brief moment, so for now it is a bit oh hi. Wait a second that I let you getting heard by everyone. Okay, now you can talk. Hello.
There we go. Good afternoon. How we all doing? How's it been going so far, Christian?
Apart from a couple of lag spikes I had with car literally becoming UFOs, everything good.
Okay.
I don't know why this happened. I'll be completely honest. I was as astonished as I could have been. So it sometimes happens. I don't know why today is like this, but for once, it has been quite calm. There hasn't been a lot of incidents. There has been a lot of calm and steady chasings, left and right, without too much trouble after all. So I think it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like some of the drivers are struggling with the track limits. I've been lurking in the server for about the last hour. I've seen 3-4 drive-throughs for track limits, and now Tice Payne getting a stop go 32nd for speeding in the pit lane after serving a drive-through for breaching the track limits. So yeah, it might be calm while they're on track, but it looks like the drivers are having a fair bit of time, in the pits from going off track as well. Has that been the case early doors, or is that something that's just starting to pick up now as we're 3 hours in?
No, it's usual. It's some track limits are a thing in endurance racing, and it's the usual number. To be fair, but honestly, this is actually mild compared to the usual drive-through I see, especially in Valencia, because usually even in sprint races you see like 2 or 3 drivers getting drive-through in sprint racing. Well, here it has been quite the number. It's the usual. Oh, there is a 166 off. Oh, spinning in the background. into the gravel. And Brooker will lose garbage placement, and I think only that one. Yep, only that one. Going a bit too greedy on the inside there. But yeah, the drive-thrus have been quite normal in that regard. It's nothing exceptional. It's honestly, as I said, it's one of those races where everything seems more calmer than the usual, and even in terms of incidents, apart from the first like 2 laps where mayhem happened, but like that was it in terms of incidents. Like a couple of contacts obviously happened, but all in all, I'm quite satisfied by this race. Oh, another contact. Never mind what I said.
Who is that car? 31.
It is Run DJC.
Honda on BMW.
No, it's Corsa with a Ferrari of QRT going a bit too deep into the brakes and losing the line there. But yeah, there has been the effective only big one has been the one on the first places, because now there is Shaber in 5th place and, well, Brooker was in 6th place, but there was a fight for the podium. That fight for the podium has been demolished by a car that unfortunately lost the car completely on turn number, was it 12? Yes, it was 12, turn number 12. But apart from that, that was the only big one, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay, yeah, so no major incidents. Yeah, and it's good to see still 45 cars out and running. So yeah, as you say, no major incidents. Drivers maybe keeping their powder dry, although just as I say that, I see Domenico Bellotti there for Astro Racing.
Yeah, there has been a contact with another car.
Yeah, the 166.
Oh, the 166, okay.
Yeah, Jay Brooker. Oh! Same corners we saw the QRT Ferrari run deep there, actually. I was just checking that one on my screen on the replay there. And yeah, a hatful of cars making their way past. James Williams making his way through there as well.
Yeah, since you came here, everything is happening, so... like, what? How? Why?
The ultimate curse of the commentator right there. As soon as he jumps in the booth, that's it. It all goes the way of the pair.
Yeah, for real.
Take it too personally from the drivers.
For real, a stop and go penalty, 2 drivers crashing each other, 1 losing the car, rather 2, all in 5 minutes. That's your fault.
Yes, indeed, that's send your letters of complaints to myself personally, James Williams. Don't look in, don't do that.
Can confirm. Can confirm, he is James Williams.
Yeah. Like the poor guy's not got enough to do.
But yeah, it has been 3 hours and a half, and here this room is boiling because my PC is a heater at this point. So yeah, I kind of need a shower, I'll be honest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I am ready to hit the live button and take over the cameras. If you want to count me down from 3, and we'll go on go.
Okay, I'm with Nopek, TV1, and I'll first place.
Yeah.
And I'll be off in 5, 4, 3, 2.